Recall to order this evening's meeting. Ordinances for public hearing and final consideration. Mr. Mills, 19-15.
Yes, Mayor, I would ask that you open for public hearing an ordinance entitled an ordinance establishing salaries and compensation for employees of the Policemen's Benevolent Association, Superior Officers Association, PBA Local 133A of the Township of Morris.
I'll offer ordinance number 1915.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Before we take roll call on that, is there anybody from the public who has any question or comment on ordinance 19-15? Seeing none, I will close the public portion and ask for roll call. Sonia?
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Mr. Nunn?
Yes.
Mr. Sisler?
Yes.
Mayor Caffrey?
Yes. I, Daniel W. Caffrey, Mayor, declare the ordinance adopted and finally passed, approve the same, and direct that the clerk publish proper notice thereof in the newspaper and record the ordinance in its proper place. Mr. Mills, 20-15.
Also, for public hearing an ordinance adopting a codification and revision of the ordinances of the Township of Morris County, Morris State of New Jersey, providing for the maintenance of said code, repealing and saving from repeal certain ordinances not included therein, establishing a penalty for altering or tampering with the code, and making certain changes in previously adopted ordinances with attachment.
I'll offer ordinance 2015, Mr. Mayor.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Prior to roll call, is there anybody from the public who has any comment on ordinance 20-15? Seeing none, Sonia, roll call?
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Mr. Nunn?
Yes.
Mr. Sisler?
Yes.
Mayor Caffrey?
Yes. I, Daniel W. Caffrey, Mayor, declare the ordinance adopted and finally passed, approve the same, and direct that the clerk publish proper notice thereof in the newspaper and to record the ordinance in its proper place.
2115, Mayor, is entitled a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the Township of Morris, appropriating the aggregate amount of $3,272,500 therefore, including a grant amount of $240,000 expected to be received from the state of New Jersey, Department of Transportation, and authorizing the issuance of $2,880,500 bonds or notes of the Township to finance project costs.
Okay, do I hear a motion for 2115?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second?
Second.
Prior to roll call, anybody from the public care to make comment on ordinance 21-15?
Just an informational
Name
question.
and name,
Oh,
just
just right, James O'Reilly, 50 Independence Way. An informational question. When you pass these authorizations for bond issues and other things, is this a process separate from the budget process, or does it fit in with the budget process? How does that work?
It would fit in with the budget process.
Part of the budget process on that, Mr. O'Reilly, we raise 5% of the funds in the budget, and then we do the capital and bond ordinances following the budget approval. So we can fund these projects, but it's all accounted for in the budget.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So I have a motion and a second. Sonia, roll call?
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Mr. Nunn?
Yes.
Mr. Sisler?
Yes.
Mayor Caffrey?
Yes. I, Daniel W. Caffrey, Mayor, declare the ordinance adopted and finally passed, approve the same, and direct that the clerk publish proper notice thereof in the newspaper and to record the ordinance in its proper place.
22-15 is entitled an ordinance appropriating $3,334,000 available in the Capital Improvement Fund to provide for various sewer improvements referred to herein in and by the Township of Morris.
Do I hear a motion on 2215?
I'll offer 2215, Mr. Mayor.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Prior to roll call, anybody from the audience care to comment on 22-15? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. Roll call, Sonia?
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Mr. Nunn?
Yes.
Mr. Sisler?
Yes.
Mayor Caffrey?
Yes. I, Daniel W. Caffrey, Mayor, declare the ordinance adopted and finally passed, approve the same, and direct the clerk publish proper notice thereof in the newspaper and to record the ordinance in its proper place. 2315, Mr. Mills.
Entitled a bond ordinance providing for swimming pool improvements and the purchase of equipment by the Township of Morris appropriating $215,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $204,250 bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost thereof.
Do I hear a motion on 2315?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second?
Second.
Okay, prior to roll call, anybody from the audience care to comment on 2315?
Kathy Wilson, 20 Beechwood Drive. At the last meeting, Mr. Sisler cast the lone no vote on the first read of this ordinance. When this same situation has come up in the past, my request for Mr. Sisler to explain the reasoning on his no vote has not been answered, and in fact, at one meeting, Mayor Caffrey's response to my request, "You don't have to answer that," gave the impression that in your view, asking someone to explain their vote is somehow intrusive and controversial. I get that there's no legal requirement for anyone to explain the reasoning behind their vote. What's less clear is why you would object to doing so. Your vote is your voice on behalf of your constituents. Your reasoning helps people understand the message you're sending on their behalf. I'm glad to see diverse opinions on this committee. It shows that issues are getting vetted with a more complete spectrum of views. On this particular issue, pool funding, there have been a couple of votes over the past year, and at one meeting over the last year, Mr. Sisler offered the only explanation for his no vote I've ever heard. He stated that because some of the neighbors had driven Honeywell out of Morris Township, thus depleting our tax base, that therefore Morris Township could not afford the pool work. The clear implication of these remarks was that Mr. Sisler was blaming the neighbors who opposed Honeywell for his no vote on the pool funding. I did make an effort to find Mr. Sisler's exact words on this issue. I filed an Oprah request for an audio recording of the 2014 meeting at which Mr. Sisler made these remarks. I was told that audios prior to 2015 have been destroyed, a policy that, in my opinion, needs review. But that's another topic. My questions here tonight are for Mr. Sisler. I respectfully ask that you explain the reasoning for your no vote on the ordinance that's before you tonight, and I respectfully ask that you comment on the only explanation you've ever offered for voting no on pool funding ordinances in the past. Do you stand on that explanation or not?
The vote hasn't been taken yet.
He voted no on the first read, which I assume means a second no vote on the second read unless something's changed.
I wouldn't know until he votes.
Okay, well, I still ask the same questions.
I'm sorry, you're talking to me?
No, actually, I'm talking to Mr. Sisler.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
Thank you.
Lee Goldberg, 10 Arrowhead Road. On 2315, just so I'm clear on the answer that was given to Mr. O'Reilly. So for the procedure on this, 5%, roughly say 10 grand, needs to be put as a down payment on the bond. Is that correct?
Correct, it's in the capital fund balance.
It's in the capital fund balance. And so that's already accounted for in the budget presentation that we had last time. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And is this, it's not clear, is this for work? Because there's been a lot of pool votes and a lot of, funding of the pool work and all that. Is this for work? It says providing for equipment. Is that affiliated with the current renovations to the pool, or is that for some other outside equipment, sheds, door, whatever? I mean, is it for anything outside of the work that's going on the pool, or is it related to that?
It's both. It's part of, it's a splash pad for the streeter pool when that's built, but then we're also putting on pool covers, and we're putting in electrical surges to protect all the new equipment that we are purchasing. Those are the three items that are in the part of this ordinance.
Okay, and it was my understanding in the presentation on the budget last time, just related to the pool, is that, is the pool budget currently in the red or is it in the black? The funding, is the pool operating in the red or the black?
Because the subsidy coming from the general,
There's, I believe, about 400K or something.
that is correct. It has to run in the black.
So then the additional 10K that we're using to
That was
put the down payment for this bond is part of that 400K.
That is correct.
Thank you very much.
Malcolm Shelford, 14 Hilltop Circle. This morning I stopped by the administrative offices to ask about audio recordings of committee meetings.
Sir, this is just regarding 2315. That would be, we can certainly entertain that
Okay.
during the public comment. Any other comment regarding ordinance 2315? No, seeing none, close the public portion and ask for a vote.
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Mr. Nunn?
Yes.
Mr. Sisler?
No.
Mayor Caffrey?
Yes. I, Daniel W. Caffrey, Mayor, declare the ordinance adopted and finally passed, approve the same, and direct the clerk to publish proper notice thereof in the newspaper and record the ordinance in its proper place. Mr. Mills, 2415.
Entitled ordinance appropriating $180,000 available in the capital improvement fund to provide for improvements to the convent station parking lot in and by the Township of Morris.
Do I hear a motion for 2415?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, prior to roll call, I will ask anybody who has any comment on 2415 to step up to the microphone. Seeing none, I will close the public portion. Sonia, roll call?
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Mr. Nunn?
Yes.
Mr. Sisler?
Yes.
Mayor Caffrey?
Yes. I, Daniel W. Caffrey, Mayor, declare the ordinance adopted and finally passed, approve the same, and direct the clerk to publish proper notice thereof in the newspaper and record the ordinance in its proper place. And 2515, Mr. Mills?
Yes, lastly, an ordinance appropriating $500,000 available in the general capital improvement fund to provide for a contribution to the Morris Township Library in and by the Township of Morris.
Okay, do I hear a motion on 2515?
I will offer 2515, Mr. Mayor.
Second? Second. Prior to roll call, is there anybody from the public who has any comment regarding 2515?
Okay. Yara Barsamian, Leslie Quick. Did anybody question the $500,000 for, I guess, is the new facade of the library? Well, it's not made out of gold, and did our engineer evaluate the soundness of the proposal? Did we negotiate something? Well, it seems a little bit outrageous in this day and age, given the economic situation, that we have to spend that kind of money.
We received their consulting engineers report, which was reviewed by the Morris Township Engineering Department.
Was there any other review? In other words, Mr. Quinn, was it just accepted at face value and that's
So
it?
we had meetings to discuss it. We met with their architect, we met with their engineers. There was quite extensive meetings that Mr. Mancuso and myself went to 2 years ago, and we were provided all the information on that and brought that back to the Township Committee for their consideration last year and this year.
I understand that, but was there any change in the price?
No.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Yeah, roll call.
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Mr. Nunn?
Yes.
Mr. Sisler?
Yes.
Mayor Caffrey?
Yes. I, Daniel W. Caffrey, Mayor, declare the ordinance adopted and finally passed, approve the same, and direct the clerk to publish proper notice thereof in the newspaper and to record the ordinance in its proper place. Mr. Quinn, bid committee report?
Thank you, Mayor. One bid to report on this deals with fire department generators. These are all station generators. 2 of them are going to be installed. One at the Woodland Fire Company, the second one at the Hillside Fire Company. Engineering department had put together all the specifics for it. We went out to bid on this. 8 vendors picked up specifications. 4 submitted bids for that. The lowest responsible bidder is Power with Prestige Incorporated out of Newton, New Jersey. in the amount of $148,200. It is recommended to the Township Committee to move forward on that, and there is the appropriate resolution authorizing this contract for the installation of these two generators. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Quinn.